Hi. Before we get started in the actual uh, the actual content today, um, I just wanted to share something. I'm feeling really kind of emotional today. I It all started this morning. I was reflecting on a post that a friend of mine had made last week, and I had wanted to comment on it, and I didn't because I didn't want to create a stir or make anybody upset or create a storm of controversy. So I left it. And I was thinking about the family that got run down last weekend in London, and I just get so disappointed with humanity sometimes that people can be so small-minded, so intolerant, so just disrespectful of other people, that they can go to that length to actually run a family down on purpose. And so I responded to my friend's post because it wasn't overtly anti-Muslim, but it was definitely enough to allow people to be that way, to show them that it's okay to disrespect other people, to disrespect other people's religions, to just not realize that we are all the same, that we all have the same hurts and challenges and love and joy. And so if we can't see other people that way, if we can't love other people, because we are all human, it doesn't matter what our clothes are, what our sexuality is, what our religion is, where we're from. If we just took the time to talk to each other, to listen to each other, we would see how similar we are and how much we would deserve each other's respect and love and tolerance. So I just wanted to share that and get that off my chest before I get into my topic for today, because that just kind of has been sitting on me all day. And then I finished watching The Good Place, which I've seen before, and it's a great show. And at the end, everyone completes their journey, and that made me verklempt in a whole different way. And then right before I got on here, someone posted about their dog that they had to put down after 16 years. So I'm just having a day. And so I wanted to get that out of the way before talking about my topic today, because kind of in a way it all fits together, as the universe often does. It just brings everything full circle and brings things together. I'm going to take a small pause and take a breath, and then we're going to get into today's topic. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is Tuesday, and it's time for things that make you go, And today's topic is touch, touch, feel. The purpose of this live is to discuss what it means to be human, what it means to find things that make life better, that make us go, whether it's in relationships, whether it's who you are, whether it's your self-expression, all of these things contribute to making our lives more worthy. And I want to spread love to you all through these uh, little lives every week. And I hope that you carry that through to your life and to the others around you. Touch, touch, feel. Where did that topic come from? Well, several years back, probably about 10 years or so, there was a Kleenex commercial. And I have tried many times to find this commercial on YouTube. But I don't know, maybe Kleenex didn't think it was worth preserving, or people didn't think it was worth preserving, but it really spoke to me. The only thing that I found on it today when I looked again was a discussion board about how terrible it was as a commercial. And so that proved to me at least that it did exist. But the reason I liked it was because it was this woman walking through her life and touching things. So she turns on the light, she puts on her shoes, she grabs her keys, and everything that she came across, it said touch, 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 touch. And that's how we live our lives. You know, we get up in the morning, we put our feet on the floor, touch. We put on our slippers, touch. We turn on the water, touch. We check the temperature of the shower, touch. And often we don't take the time to feel. So at the end of the commercial, she grabs a Kleenex, which is, you know, it's silly, and she actually takes the time to feel it. And it's so easy to just go through our lives, touch, 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 and never actually really feeling, never letting our senses be enlivened by what we're feeling or what we're touching. And so touch, the definition of touch is to come into or be in contact with. So, you know, we do that all the time, touching, touching, touching. We can't go through life without touching things. It's physically impossible. It also means handle in order to manipulate, alter, or otherwise affect something. So turning on a light switch, turning on a tap, opening a door, putting your hand on someone's shoulder to get them to calm down, sitting on a chair makes the cushion depress. All of these, every time we touch something, we somehow change it or alter it. Whether it's just leaving a fingerprint or something more concrete. It also means have an effect on or make a difference to. So similar, we can push something that's touching and move it. We can have an effect on someone's skin when we touch them. We might leave a mark. There's all kinds of ways, all kinds of things involved in touch. Feel is to be aware of through touching or being touched. So it's just the next level. So the touch happens and then you become aware of that touch, whether it's the thing that you're touching or the person that you're touching, the animal that you're touching, being aware of it and responding to it. So when I pet my cat, you know, he purrs. So he's being aware of the touch, and other times they just ignore me. So I'm sure they're aware that I'm touching them and they can feel it, but they're not really responding. You can also experience an emotion or a sensation, that is to feel. The act of touching something to examine it is feeling. So picking up a piece of fruit and touching it to see if it feels ripe. Touching a piece of fabric to see if it's soft or rough. You know, all of those things are feeling. It's also a sensation given by an object on a material when it's touched. And I had a reason for writing down that specific definition. Sensation given by an object or material when touched. Right. So when you, for example, when you touch my book, it gives the sensation of being soft and silky. When you touch a piece of tape, it gives the sensation of being sticky. All of those things are feeling. It goes beyond just touch. In the Bad Kitty Handbook, I have a whole section called Touch, Touch, Feel. And I'm not going to read it all to you, but I'm going to refer to it as we talk. So the difference between touch and feel is sensuality. The definition of sensuality is to be in touch with the senses. So sight, smell, taste, sound, and touch, of course. And the difference between just going through life touch, 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 touch is the actual taking the time to feel. That's when the sensuality comes in. We often live on the surface and we don't take the time to really get to the feel experience. It's all about the touch. It was a restaurant review that I read where they talked about the difference between eating out and going for dinner. So people eat out all the time. We get takeout, we go to a restaurant, we go out with friends. We do all of these things in a different place, eating out, someplace other than home. But when you dine, when you go out for dinner, it's an experience. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be expensive, but when you treat it as going out for dinner rather than just eating out, it becomes a whole new way of being, because you're actually being present, you're actually participating in the experience rather than just mowing down. And even staying home can be going out for dinner, because you are taking the time to really experience it, to touch the food, to taste the food, to prepare the food, to really get the senses involved. So we were talking last week about food and how it does use all the senses. So that going out for dinner is not just tasting the food, it's taking the time to smell it, it's taking the time to listen to the sounds that it makes, to see the colors, to smell the spices, to touch the silverware, to touch the tablecloth. All of those things are part of the touch, touch, feel for going out for dinner. So I've got some questions here from the book. How many times have you chosen to eat something fast in the car rather than sitting down and enjoying a meal? How many times have you filled your day so full that you were rushing from one thing to another, barely leaving time to breathe? Actually, let me ask, when's the last time you didn't do that? How many times have you been having a conversation with a friend and you realize 10 minutes in that you haven't been listening? How many times have you yelled at your child or spouse, or been short with a stranger simply because you were feeling stress and not dealing with it? These are all things that happen when you just live on the surface, when you just touch, when you don't feel. So an example of, for me with food, is I'm hypoglycemic. And hypoglycemia is often confused with diabetes. It's low blood sugar, but it's not a chronic condition. It doesn't need medication or anything special to overcome it. It's just, you just need to eat. So when I hear people talk about, I didn't think about eating lunch today, I'm like, seriously? How could you even not? do that? How could that even happen? Because if I don't eat every roughly 2 to 3 hours, my hypoglycemia starts to kick in, and my energy lags, my brain starts to fog up, and eventually I will get really, really, really irritated. When people talk about being hangry, that's me. I saw a T-shirt once that said, "You wouldn't like me when I'm angry," and the way it was, he was standing, or the shadows made it look like, "You wouldn't like me when I'm hangry," and I thought, I need that T-shirt because it's so true. A couple of examples. I was in, when I was working at Sears, I was at a meeting, like a training meeting, and we were supposed to break for lunch at noon. And of course, they gave us a morning break where they supplied food, but it was, Danishes and muffins and donuts and all that kind of high sugar stuff that doesn't really sustain you. And we didn't get out until 1. And then we went as a group to get food. So of course then there's the whole negotiation of where you're going to go and what you're going to do, and then we decide to go to Olive Garden, where of course there was a wait. So I'm getting way past what I need, and we finally get our table. I've got something in my eye. We finally get our table, and the server comes up, and I just looked her straight in the eye and I said, "I'm hypoglycemic and I'm starting to shake. Bring breadsticks now." Everybody's like, "Oh, we should take you to the restaurant more often. We'll get food faster." and another time, I was in New Orleans for a conference, and when I was teaching pole dancing, I had a conference in New Orleans, and it was great, great, great fun. But one night, we were going out for dinner, and I I'm not a typical girl, whatever that is, where I don't take a lot of time to get ready for things. And we had agreed to meet in the lobby at a certain time, and of course there were all of these stragglers that took 10-15 minutes longer than they should have. And I was like, "Oh, I'm hungry, you guys, let's go." And we're walking down Bourbon Street, and of course they've got all the menus outside the restaurants, and then people keep reading the rest. "Oh, I don't know if I want to eat here. Let's go to the next place. Oh, I don't know. There's nothing here I want to eat. Let's go to the next place." And finally, I couldn't take it anymore. And I went, "Just pick something." So we went into the restaurant we were at. So I've realized that I know this, that I need to be nourished regularly. Otherwise, it just becomes a disaster. I also realized on the New Orleans trip about enjoying food. It wasn't just about nourishment. It was about how amazing the food was. I want to go back to New Orleans so bad just for the food because everything tasted so good. I tried so many new things, crawfish, turtle, alligator. I even tried grits, which were disgusting. But I've realized over the years that I enjoy more when I travel because I take risks. I do things I wouldn't normally do. I take the time to enjoy them. So it becomes a feel rather than a touch, rather than a necessity. And so travel is a very sensual thing for me. And it can be every day as well. It's just about being fully present, about really taking the opportunity to feel, to engage. And feel and touch also have more emotional definitions. So touch is to produce feelings of affection, gratitude, or sympathy. So I felt touched when I read the post about the woman having to put down her dog. It produced feelings of affection and sympathy in me. And the feeling goes deeper. It's to have a belief or expression, a feeling of heightened emotion. So you can be touched by something, and then when you really feel it, it gets into your body, it gets into your bones. Like this, like the the feelings about that poor family and that poor child that lost his mama and his grandma, and how he's going to live now. You know, it creates a feeling. It's not just being touched, like, oh, that's so sweet. It's deeper. It's full, and it really resonates in the body. There was something else I wanted to cover here. I just need to find it. Oh, yes. I want to read this part. Living in your authentic sensuality, touch in your feel, is about truly being in the world and experiencing it. It's also about your self-expression and being willing to show up as yourself in all situations. It can be easy to hold back, to feel things out, and to make sure you feel safe before truly showing yourself. My question to you is, how many times have you missed out because of that habit? How many times has fear stopped you? How many times have you just not been present and didn't see an opportunity for friendship, love, or beauty? These questions are hard to answer, because how do you know what you've missed? If you missed it, it's gone. So let's take it from another angle. How much richer would your life be if you showed up in every moment? How much more fun would it be if you dove right in rather than waiting? How many fabulous experiences would you have if you didn't let fear stop you? If you really feel, if you don't just live on the surface, it's all a big It's not a little It's a big, capital, bold, giant, 30-story high. So how are some ways that you can get this in your life? Take a walk without your phone or your iPod, your music player, preferably in nature. Eat at a table without the TV on. Practice the art of listening. Make dinner from scratch. Food is pretty sexy, and so is the preparation of it, especially when you take the time to feel all the senses around it. Dress in clothes that make you feel wonderful. The fabric, feel the fabric, feel how it is on your body, feel how it flows on you. Do something creative, even if you're not really good at it. Draw, paint, write, scrapbook, craft, knit, crochet, make hooked rugs, make those little diamond pictures, whatever. Do something creative that makes you go, that makes you feel good, that gets you excited. Color. Coloring is huge. Read for pleasure rather than for knowledge or for school or self-help or anything like that. Go out with friends and leave the cell phone behind. Please do it. Go about your whole day without anything in your ear. So no earbuds, no music, no nothing. Just experience, just feel what's around you, and really be present with it. Spend time playing with children. Nobody's more present than a little kid. Go to a coffee shop without your phone or any other distractions, and just people watch. No book, no screens, and make up stories about people, or just enjoy the view and realize that these lovely, lovely people all have stories just like you. They're all human just like you. They all deserve your respect just like you. Whew. touch, feel. I had no idea this topic was going to take on so much emotion for me today, but I hope it touched you as well. Um, Please remember my books. Serial Love, my erotic novel, is available on Amazon in Kindle or paperback with the silky, sensual cover. It's also available on my website, which is thebadkitty.com, thebadkitty.com. And it's there on PDF format. So if you don't have a Kindle or you prefer not to read paperbacks, real books, you can get it in Kindle. And when you do that, you get 3 special gifts: the Achieve Your Ultimate Success DVD, if you still have a DVD player, living proof celebrating the gifts that came wrapped in sandpaper. Every rough patch in our lives can and usually is a gift. And this is chock full of stories about that. And it includes my own as well. It was compiled by Lisa Nichols from The Secret. And the Bad Kitty Handbook, which I was referring to tonight. It's about sensuality, about authenticity, about really being you and expressing who you are in the world and how to do that. Next week, I'm going to talk about decisiveness and how sexy that can be, and how it's not just good for your relationship, it's good for you, it's a very attractive quality, and we'll dive into that a little bit more. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you were here for my cry earlier, thank you for being here. Thanks for the hugs, Jen, Banty. And I really, really, really do appreciate you joining me on Tuesday nights for things that make you go, Please feel free to share with your friends. And I hope you'll come back again. Happy Tuesday. And stay sexy, everybody.